Hey there, it's Sydney with Tastefully Frugal, and today I'm back with another project from the Back to School Mystery Box. We are going to be making this really fun stacked Teach tote bag. So for this project, we are going to be using the rainbow font. I've linked it in the description of this video. If you don't like that font, or you want to do a different stacked font, if you go to DeFont and search stacked font, there's a few different options available, but that's the easiest way to get this like layered letter look, is just to use a stacked font. But in this video, I'll show you how in Design Space to separate the font. So as you can see, we're going to do different, we're doing the glitter vinyl on the top and the bottom, I should say, and then the printed pattern vinyl for the main Teach. So in Design Space, I'll show you how to separate your text so that we can do different colors like this. I'm also going to show you a little hack when you're working with patterned vinyl. If you're working with another type of HTV, or not, this isn't patterned vinyl, I'm sorry, patterned HTV. And if you're working with another type of HTV, so you don't need to use the heat transfer mask. If you're only working with the patterned HTV, this stuff here, they have a ton of different patterns on 143 vinyl, and I absolutely love their patterned HTV. Just such great quality. But if you are only working with patterned HTV, you do need a heat transfer mask. And one of the things that I absolutely love about 143 vinyl is it does not let you add the item to the cart without you selecting whether you need or don't need a heat transfer mask. When I first started using printed HTV, I ordered some from Amazon, and it didn't come with heat transfer mask, and I could not figure out why it was not sticking to my project. So if you have had issues with patterned HTV before, it's probably because you didn't have a heat transfer mask, and almost all of the ones that you can get from Amazon do not sell a heat transfer mask with it. So I'm not using a heat transfer mask in this project because I'll be using the backing from the regular HTV. But if you are doing a patterned HTV project without another type of HTV, make sure you have your heat transfer mask. How many times can I say heat transfer mask in a sentence? I don't know. That was a lot. But I want to show you in Design Space how to separate everything, and then we'll go ahead and we'll start putting this project together. So let's hop into Design Space first and get started.
Okay, so the first thing we want to do is add our text. So just click text and add the word teach. Make sure it's in all capital letters, and then we'll move this to the middle of the screen so you can actually see what I'm doing. Then we'll change the font to rainbow font. If you need to know how to upload fonts into Design Space, I've linked in the description of this video a video showing how to do that. But once we have that changed, we'll make the image a little bit bigger. I guess it's text, not image. And then we need to slice the center Teach out of our design. So we're going to add a shape. We'll add a square, and let's change the color of that to red so we can actually see what we're doing. Then we're going to unlock the square so that we can change the width and the height independently, and just make it about as big as you need for that center Teach. Move it over on top of the Teach and size it again, but we want to make sure that it is the correct size. So go ahead and click that rectangle again and click align, and then arrange, sorry, and then send it back so that the Teach moves forward. And we'll make it a little bit bigger. Make sure it's not touching any of the bottom letters, but make sure that full Teach, the center Teach, is covered. Then select everything and click slice. This is going to slice that center Teach out of the other design. So we'll just move that part over. We'll move the original Teach up and then get rid of the two slices. Then we can go ahead and just change the color of Teach to red since we want it to cut on a different mat, and line everything up, and we are ready to cut our design out since we have the two layers now. So click Make It. And since we're doing the Maker 3, it's going to ask us if we're cutting on a mat or off mat. Oh, I totally forgot to change the size. So let's go ahead and go back to Canvas, and then we're going to change the size of this so it actually fits the tote bag to 8.7 inches wide. So once we have that sized correctly, now we're ready to make it. So go ahead and click Make It. Once again, we're selecting on mat because we're not using any of the smart materials. And that this first mat, we want to mirror since we are using the Sparkle HTV. This patterned HTV, you don't mirror patterned HTV, so don't mirror this mat. Let's go ahead and head over to the machine and start cutting. For patterned HTV, you do want to do the pattern side facing up when you're cutting it. And I cut on my Cricut with the patterned HTV. the patterned iron-on vinyl setting, and it works great. Even though Cricut's patterned iron-on itself works different than other patterned HTVs, the cut setting is perfect. So make sure to cut this on patterned iron-on. And then for the Caesar Sparkle, I cut on everyday iron-on, and it works great. So you'll just remove the Patterned HTV from the mat and then load the Caesar Sparkle on your mat, shiny side down, and load that into your machine. The reason I don't cut Caesar Sparkle or Caesar Twinkle on glitter HTV setting is because it's thinner than other glitter HTV, so the everyday iron-on setting works great for Caesar Sparkle and Caesar Twinkle HTV. So we'll go ahead and let our Cricut cut this design out, and then we will head over and start weeding our design. Once everything's cut out, you'll want to get a weeding tool. If you've watched mystery boxes before, you know that I love these stab and grab tweezers. They are my favorite weeding tool. It makes it really easy to weed, especially the center pieces like on the A here. Just really easy to grab that. And then we will go ahead and weed the Caesar Sparkle the rest of the teach. I always like, whether I'm reading HTV or vinyl, I always start in the top left corner and then work my way down. It's just easier to get the vinyl or HTV off, and it makes it so that you don't pull as often, I should say, don't pull up any pieces you want to stick to your mat or that you want to keep. So once we have that weeded, we'll just get the center pieces out. And now let me show you what I was saying. We don't have to use a heat mask with this because we're going to use the backing on the Caesar Sparkle as our heat mask. So just line your design up on the heat mask. So you'll do it with the design side facing like sticking down to the backer, and then use a squeegee to press it on. And then you'll just peel back that backer. Make sure to go slow just in case for any reason the Patterned HTV sticks to the backer. And now we can press everything in one press, and it's ready to go. I am going to be using the Easy Press 2 for this. The temperature settings for the Patterned HTV is 285, and for the Caesar Sparkle is 305. I'm going to go in the middle at 290. Both of them call for a 15-second press time, so I'm actually going to press for the full 15 seconds, and it turns out great. So we're just adjusting the time to 290, or the temperature to 290, the time to 15 seconds, and we're going to let that preheat. While it's preheating, I am going to get my bag prepped to be pressed. I am putting the pressing pillow in. Pressing pillows, if you remember from previous HTV videos, these help make sure that the heat goes where you want it to when you're pressing like a tote bag or a onesie. Make sure all the heat goes to where you're putting your HTV. And then because there is some lint on my bag, I'm just cleaning it off with a lint roller so that doesn't stick underneath any of the HTV. But once it's cleaned, and once our Easy Press is at temperature, you'll want to preheat your bag for about 3 to 5 seconds. Once it's preheated, then we'll go ahead and line up our design on the bag. We'll go line it up, and you want to measure once it's lined up from both the left and right side and the top to bottom. So it can take you a little bit extra time, but it is so worth it to make sure that everything is centered. I love using this Cricut, not stencil, ruler. This ruler is great for measuring. Obviously it's a ruler, but also that beveled edge makes it really nice to protect your fingers if you're using it to cut things, which I'll show you in another video for Back to School Mystery Box. And then just press with firm pressure, 290 for that 15 seconds. And it is a warm peel, so you do want to let it cool for maybe 30 seconds before you peel away the backer. Let's go ahead and peel it away and take a look at our design. I am so in love with these two colors together. The sparkle looks great, in my opinion, with that Patterned HTV. So here's a closer look at that composite notebook, Patterned HTV, and then take a look at the glitter. I love that it's not like a thick, chunky glitter, but it does give it just the right amount of sparkle.
When I was trying to decide what color I wanted to do the rest of the teach on the black tote bag, I couldn't decide if I wanted to do red, white or the sparkle white. And I'm so glad that I went with the Caesar Sparkle. I think it looks great with this red composition notebook patterned HTV. But I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. If I didn't mention it earlier, I'm linking everything that we used in this tutorial in the description of this video. I also have a link to all the other back to school mystery box tutorials so that you can check those out. And there is linked the project ebook that's included with the back to school mystery box. So I created an ebook with all the project tutorials there for you, so it's easy to reference, as well if there's any additional materials you need and the time it takes to make each project. And with the project ebook, there are several SVGs that are included, exclusive to the back to school mystery box, so you can find those in the page below. All that is linked in the description of this video. But I would also love to have you subscribe to Tastefully Frugal if you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you next time.